good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening. Folks, thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 16th of August, year of our Lord 2024. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Motown Noah. Got a big Friday show for you guys. Got a big end of the week stamp. You made it. It's Friday. TGIF. We made it. Nick, what the hell happened? You had an impromptu wellness week here at the Coping Hour. I guess we did, didn't we? I guess we must have done that because Sunday night I took to YouTube's community posts, which is where in the past I have told you guys to go. If there's ever a day where for some reason there's an unplanned episode missing from your podcast feed on a Monday or Friday, check YouTube's community posts over at the Motown Noah channel to see what's going on, because I made a post there where I was like, hey, there's not going to be a show. That's it. There's no show. Sorry for the late notice. So what happened? I was just in a really bad mood, honestly. That's it. I was just in a really bad mood, and I do this because I enjoy it. And in the moment that I had to decide if I was going to record a show or not, because I kind of waited until the 11th hour to figure it out, I just decided this is just going to put me in a worse mood, honestly. And you know, in the past, being in a bad mood doesn't stop me from recording the show, because I'm like, but I can still get 60 minutes out of this. Like, we can, you know, harness something raw and like talk about real emotions and shit like that. And like, we can turn it into a positive, like, manic episode that I'm having, like by literally turning it into an episode. Like, that's an episode. But it's actually me. I'm like the Wired autocomplete, Reddit undercover, but it's actually me. But it's me in real life. But I was just in a really bad mood, which sucks, because Sunday I actually had an awesome day. It was the first time since we had our son that I went out solo by I think this is the first time I would have gone out solo by myself. I had no responsibilities for a few hours, and I went to the movies, and I got this. Oh my God, I was in an AMC theaters by myself, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Ripped a weed pen a few times too, biked, and I got to tell you, folks, It was such a liberating feeling, honestly, because I have felt I've talked about it on the show, I've felt such a tremendous sense of isolation lately. And so to just kind of get out and be a little bit high and riding an electric bike, like just tooling around going 40 miles an hour, because the DNC is coming to town pretty soon, there's a lot of government vehicles. So a lot of government vehicles, and you can identify them as government vehicles because they are black Escalades with tinted windows, the whole nine. And then they have government plates. Whoops. Oh, okay. But so I almost died like 8 times because of the expeditions. So whoops, Secret Service, whoops the daisies. It's okay. I accept the apology. So Nick, what did you see? I saw Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I don't want to give too much away here. You know, I'm not gonna. This is generally a spoiler-free program, but it's one of those movies where M. Night Shyamalan movies exist in such a specific way in like the greater movie pantheon, where like when you go to see one of his movies, because his thing is the twist, right? Like, what you go into his movies knowing that there's going to be a twist, and that's a lot of the times the allure of his plots isn't really the plot itself, but how that could be a vehicle to get to whatever twist we get to, you know what I mean? So, you know, on the way to getting to the inevitable M. Night Shyamalan twist, some dumb stuff is going to happen. Like some shit that if you think too hard about it, you can really explain how just dumb it is. Just don't do that. Just like let the movie happen, and it's fun. That's like how a lot of his movies. So, okay. So Old sucked. Split was like fine. Knock at the Cabin, sneaky, was kind of awesome. And by now, here's a little spoiler. By now, anybody who, you know, wanted to see the movie, I would hope that you've seen the movie. It's been a couple of years. The twist of that movie is literally just, they're not lying. No, they're telling the truth. That's an awesome twist. That fucking rules. Because you're just like, okay, so obviously these people are lying the entire time. But like, so what is, but like beyond that, what is, no, it's actually just that they're not lying. And that the world actually was, that was awesome. That's awesome. And so, I don't know. Trap looked really interesting. It was kind of getting bombed on Rotten Tomatoes, but I was like, all right. But the plot was interesting enough. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I think the movie just might have ruled a little bit. I think it might have been kind of good, to be honest with you. But all right, so I'll move off of that. And then I got to tell you, so I'm coming home from the movie theater, still on a bike, and I'm almost home, and there's a stretch of road. It's like rush hour at this point, so I'm like really having to dial in and like not be a jackass on the bike, right? but there's a moment where I turn down like a side road, and it's like a 1/4 mile stretch where there's no cars. There's no traffic going either way. It's just me. And again, I'm on an electric bike. These fuckers literally go like 30 miles an hour, okay? And I was like, fuck it. And I went as fast as I could, and I'm like swerving and shit. And I'm like, I got my headphones going. I'm like listening to Lil Yachty, like just swerving and shit, and like kicking my legs out and like dangling them around and fucking going no hands and shit. Like, I'm just having a blast. I get to the end of the stretch of road, and I'm like, I don't know the next time I'm going to get to do this, brother. So you know what I did? I turned around. I did the exact same shit back the other way, which meant, well, I got to go back down again in order to actually go home. So I did that shit 3 different times, and then finally decided that it was time to go home. And then somehow by the end of the day, I was just pissed off, which sucked. I had an awesome few hours. Don't worry about the dog. He barks sometimes. He's not going to hurt anybody. He's going to bark. He's going to just let him wolf this out. And it's a brutal time for him to start doing this because I was really on a roll. But I'm going to have to keep. The problem is that his mom is. I'm actually just going to cut all this out. So I'm going to cut this out. So, okay, Nick, where is the chase and how do we cut to it? You're right. We can't get there yet, but hold on. We're almost there. Because at this point, I'm just kind of like rehashing my entire week. So, hey, it was a wellness week. I might as well tell you guys like what I actually achieved. And so then the other day, I'm like sitting at home. I'm like, whoa, Netflix just got World War Z. Like, hell yeah. Like if I see World War Z on one of the streaming platforms, I'm just like, I'm going to watch it. It's one of those movies that I was talking about it with Jacob, aka Rusty Buckets, the other day in our little pre-pod meeting at the shoot around. And I think what he said was like something to the effect of like, it's the perfect 5 out of 10 movie. I couldn't agree with him more. Like, it's just dumb movie. It's one, again, hey man, it's a movie that if you think too hard about some of the stuff, like, yeah, it's pretty dumb, but it's just it's Brad Pitt in a zombie movie. And it's the type of zombie that is actually scary, right? It's like the 28 days later, 28 weeks later type of zombie that you're actually like, whoa, do we have infrastructure to deal with this type of shit? You know, because like I've always maintained the Walking Dead type of zombies. That does not turn into like the world doesn't end because of that. There's no way. But if it's the World War Z type of zombies, 100%. So okay, so why are you bringing this up? Well, because I identify again. I've seen this movie a lot, like a lot of you. Like it was sneaky one of the highest grossing films of all time. Period. Like it's in like the top 15. What? World War Z? Yeah, I swear to God, go look it up. So okay, we've all seen this movie a bunch. I guess I just never pegged it as a movie that follows the trope of guy who excelled in a certain field and then leaves it to like be with his family. But then his field is like, no, we got one last job for you. Come on, come back to the force. We got one more job for you. And he's like, I can't, my family, I can't. And they're like, come on. Like the world is at stake. That's what World War Z is. It's just one of those movies. Oh, but then the question is like, so how the fuck does that trope exist, by the way? So that has had to have happened at some point in real life where there was a guy who was like pulled back into, because then my brain is like, surely there was somebody in the world who got a phone call about a lab leak in Wuhan. And it was like, I know, and hold on and stay with me. I know you said you're out of the force to spend some time with your family, but let me catch you up to speed on what the fuck is going on in Wuhan. And a guy got pulled into like, was that Dr. Fauci? Is that him? Was he like the modern day version of that trope? Was that him? So, okay, so where did that come? I don't know. All right, that's all I had to say about that. World War Z, pretty damn good. So I say all of that. Just to say, I did actually get something done this week. I got something done this week that I had promised like a month ago. Folks, the merch is done. Not only is it done, but it's like available. You guys can buy merch now. Now hold on. Put your credit cards away for just a second. Holster your credit cards. Let me tell you some stuff up front. One, I think it's live. I think so. By the time that you're hearing this episode, no matter what day it is, by the time this episode is uploaded, the domain should be like mine and like it all should be fine. Thecopinghour.com, by the way, the link will be in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. I don't know how Spotify works with hyperlinks, so I don't know if it'll work on there. I will still put it in the description on Spotify. If it does not work, again, thecopinghour.com, or you can check the description on YouTube. So, okay, so it should all be available for purchase. It should be. God, this is gonna be, I'm not a good salesman and I didn't prep any of this at all, so I'm really just trying to blow through all of this. So, okay, so the second thing, and this is what's important. I am given the option to order samples of everything. Okay. So in my head, I was like, the responsible thing to do would be to order samples and then show them to you guys on camera, like literally open them, unbox them on camera so that we all get a live reaction to like, hey, is it good quality? Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And then you guys can buy it. But the problem that I'm running into, and I don't know if it's because we waited, like we just hadn't purchased the domain for a little bit, and now that we have, it's gonna take a minute for us to be able to do it. But every time we like go through the process of ordering samples, it's like a dead link. Like it doesn't actually let you do anything. So I don't know if we can do that. So that's why we're still going to try. And by Monday, I think I should have a more conclusive update on this front on if we can even order samples to do like a live quality check for all of your sakes. But if you don't care about that, then just go for it. Just go for it. If you do care about that, wait like a week or so. Monday's episode, if not by next Friday's episode, we should conclusively know, can we order samples to show you guys? So if that is something you'd be interested in waiting for, there's that for you. And then I don't know what else. I don't know what else there is to say. I hope you guys all like it. Feedback if you guys want, but I also will be able to just look at the numbers. And so after like a month or two, I'll be able to see like what you guys aren't interested in, like design wise or like whatever it is. Maybe it's the colors. And then I'll just phase that out and I'll just add something new that maybe is a better. So you guys will see how it works. So it'll be like a flowing economy. Every like month or two, I'll kind of phase some stuff out and add some new stuff. I worked hard on it. And I hope that you guys like it. I feel like there's other stuff that I should say. There's lots of colors. Everything has like multiple options. So make sure you're checking that out. Link will be in the description. thecopinghour.com. All right, folks. So that was all the setup for today's show. It's probably the longest that we've done housekeeping here at the Coping Hour. So let's actually talk about hoops, because the one thing that we missed out on by not doing a Monday episode was talking about the gold medal game. And it's, with how I am, it bothers me when enough time has passed. Like at this point, I'm very late to it. So it almost feels like it's not even worth me talking about it. But if anything deserves, it's okay to be a few days late, I think it's this. Because the United States takes down France and wins the gold medal at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. And it really did feel like one of those moments. It really did, especially in those last two games between the semifinal against Serbia and then the final against France. The United States got the performance out of the three guys that we all wanted it from. The guys that you wanted to deliver on that stage, they all did. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron James all had moments. By the way, I think one of the underappreciated moments from that Serbia game still is the fact that Joel Embiid gave Jokic 7 straight points in the fourth quarter, right? It was the fourth quarter. That happened. And then I think also drew a foul on him, I think, too. I don't remember that part of it. I don't. But that subplot to the subplot to the subplot of this United States run has just been awesome. Just to do maybe a negative thing up front here. So Steph goes nuclear in the fourth quarter. We gave him his flowers in the last episode. What the hell else is there to say, honestly, about that moment other than I guess if there was nothing left for him to do before, there's really nothing left for him to do now. He's got it all. And for him to cement his legacy in that way, getting that final piece of hardware, you assume probably of his career, that felt awesome. But so he hits that shot over the double team. Banana shot, no doubt. Bonkers. Ridiculous. Holy smokes. What? But the immediate reaction to it is this the most iconic shot of all time? Is crazy. I don't say that because it wasn't nuts, but I say that here's in a vacuum the way that you can always look. If you're wondering if the thing that you just saw is the most iconic or the greatest moment of that thing, of that field, what are the odds that the most iconic thing of all time happened today? What are the odds that it happened yesterday, 15 days ago, 3 weeks ago? You know what I mean? We could keep doing this. Just what are the odds? Just think about it that way. What are the odds in international basketball history? I don't know. Soft, maybe, I guess. But Steve Kerr said something at the end of the game that I'm sure a Team USA coach has said in the past, but I either don't know about it but it felt very profound in the moment. He said something to the effect of the United States basketball team is the only team in the world that is ridiculed for not winning gold. Anything that isn't a gold medal from the United States is like shame, like actual shame, like boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. Whereas like other countries, it is so, I love it in the Olympics. Like dudes winning bronze, people winning the bronze medal in anything, they like lose their fucking minds because they medaled in the Olympics. But think about it, man. If we get silver, like if we get bronze, like which has happened in our lifetimes, a lot of our lifetimes, that's happened. Like we've not been at the mountaintop and like what that feels like. Well, that's why the Redeem team was so important. You know what I mean? And so why did this team feel so important? I think for the United States, it's because it really felt like the aforementioned trio of, KD, LeBron, and Steph were ushering out this era of dudes who consume the game in a way that is just different. On a fundamental level, it is different. And so when you think about the next generation, as it were, the Jason Tatums, the Tyrese Halliburtons, and the Anthony Edwards of the world, you throw Devin Booker in there, I guess. I would say that Anthony Edwards is the exception, to be fair, because he does have the mindset. He plays with the mentality of the three guys that we're originally talking about, right? So, okay, we'll exclude Anthony Edwards because he's about it, right? It's just different. And so to see these guys go out on top, like the pressure did feel pretty real. The United States against France, like, of course I am ecstatic that we won and that we were never really on the ropes in the same way that we were against Serbia. I wish it was like just a little bit more of a game, but also the fact that Victor Wembanyama did show up, because if we're being honest, the Olympics, like he was fine. He was fine up until the last two games. The semifinals and the gold medal match, he was incredible. He was amazing. And then he was just okay. But yeah, sure, by Victor Wembanyama standards, he was pretty damn good. But you know what I mean? He just didn't really have that many moments. And Dwayne Wade, every single game that you would watch him, I think, he's going to have a moment. This Victor Wembanyama's going to pull up. He's going to hit a three. He would say that like every other trip down the court. It's like, Dwayne, you can't just you can't keep saying that. Which is maybe another thing really quick. I had made a comment about Dwayne Wade and his commentary. I said, don't let this dude call a big game because he will blow it in some way. This guy that you're just watching the game with style of commentary is great until you get into the big important games. And then, I don't know, it can get... I got to eat some crow on that one because Dwayne Wade was magnificent. He's magnificent in the gold medal game. So Victor Wembanyama makes it a really, really electric game. Also, Yabusele murdering LeBron. If that guy doesn't get an NBA contract, I don't know how what he just did in this Olympic run would not translate to like a 10-day in the NBA. If he can't even get a 10-day, what was this all for? But okay, the Victor Wembanyama thing and how it ties into, well, this was LeBron's last Olympics. This was Kevin Durant's last Olympics. It was Steph Curry's last Olympics. They'll all be out of the league by the time the Olympics come around again in 2020. By the way, there's a car alarm that's been going off for the last few minutes. I really, really hope that's not been picking up. Just a quick apology there if it has been. Think about it like this. In the longevity of the NBA and how few players that you can use to trace this shit back to the beginning. Bob Cousy's career started in 1950 and he played until 1970. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career started in 1969 and he played until 1989. Reggie Miller's career started in 1987 and he played until 2005. LeBron's career started in 2003 and he's still playing. I'm looking at Victor Wembanyama and I'm thinking, if this shit ends up being for real, which we have every reason to believe that it is, then 20 years from now, 10 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, holy shit, isn't it kind of crazy that he played against LeBron in the Olympics? Who knows? Maybe they'll play against each other in a playoff series this year. Who knows, right? Remember when Victor Wembanyama beat an old LeBron James in the first round of the playoffs? 1-8? I don't know. Maybe, right? So you just think about it that way and this almost passing of the torch moment, because by the end of the game, Victor Wembanyama is in tears and he's embracing Kevin Durant. And whatever he was saying to KD, goddamn, I wish there was a microphone because it looked like raw and really, really intimate. Like whatever he was saying to KD, like he was like getting something off of his chest almost. Not to be the body language police, but it looked like a really vulnerable moment for him. And you could see how much it meant to Victor Wembanyama. I don't feel like the United States has that guy right now. If you want to say it's Anthony Edwards, sure. I don't know for sure, but he would be, again, the closest to it. So, like, I'll give it to you for now, right? But other than that, even if Jason Tatum is like a world champion, I don't know. Do we really buy that is he Captain America? You know what I mean? Is Jaylen Brown going to be Captain America? I don't know if either of them are even going to want to be on the team in 2028, but that's we'll get there when we get there. So we got a few emails about the Olympics and specifically about basketball. So let's just do them back to back here. copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email is available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. Someone comes into us from Tom, Bathroom Tom, Vacation Tom. I don't know if he's on vacation here. I don't know where. Maybe we'll get to that in just a second. Tom, welcome back to the show. Subject line, Olympic basketball euphoria. Hey, Nick, on the toilet in New Hampshire with my girlfriend. My question is simple, and it boils down to this. Am I the only one missing Olympic basketball right now? I usually hate the phrase, this summer was a movie. But I am not hyperbolizing a single thing when I say this Olympic basketball cycle felt like a movie. The storylines were amazing. The bonds were genuine. And the what-ifs were all answered. God, yeah, that's a good point. Just to break the email, that's a very good point. Back to the email. The subplot of this movie has to be what happens in 4 years when we have this in LA. Who will even make the next Olympic team for the U.S.? How much better will the French national team be with the young veteran players from this explosion of talent that we've seen? Is this next Olympic basketball cycle going to be some type of Avengers Infinity War type tournament where the USA loses after 20 plus years of dominance only to return with an even better performance in the Olympics after L.A.? It just felt like, it just felt and still feels surreal. And there has to be some talking points for you to hit on here. Yeah, I actually think technically I just hit on some of those. I will say Tom, I don't think you're crazy to say that it was a movie because in a lot of ways, just to kind of, rewind the clock here, like a month and a half ago, I was like, yeah, I'm like going to be really into Team USA this year. I'm going to be really, really into Team USA this year. And then like they started playing exhibition games and I watched like one against Australia and then they almost lost to South Sudan. And I was like, this team sucks. And like, I don't know if I actually care. And then as we started to get a little bit closer and it dawned on me this is going to be the last time that we ever see these dudes, this group of dudes, suit up for America. And then I also just started watching, some of the other sports that were going on, some of the other events. And I was just like, damn, is this kind of fun? And then, yeah, we got the ball rolling and, watching Jamal Murray just like suck, watching Yabusele be amazing, watching Germany fucking suck. Like all of it was fun. It was all fun. The whole South Sudan storyline was really, really fun. And it was really high level basketball, honestly, is what it is. The goaltending thing, I just loved. I just had a blast watching that, and it just adds a new element and a new wrinkle that it's just not in the front of my mind when I'm not thinking, oh, they should have knocked that out. Like until it happens, and I'm like, oh fuck, I always forget that you can do it and so that part of it is really exciting to me for the goaltending specifically. But the United States versus France, it was just a really, really excellent brand of basketball. And I think it also filled, did it fill a hole that we didn't feel like we got from the finals? I don't think, that's not a good take. I don't believe that. This one comes to us from Gabriel. Gabriel, welcome to the show. Subject line, celebrating the gold medal game and mourning the take. Hey, Nick, long-time listener, first-time emailer. Like everyone, I was glued to the gold medal game on Saturday, and once I picked my jaw up off the floor and apologized to the neighbors for absolutely losing it about 14 times during this game, I started having thoughts. I've got a longer take in the chamber about how the chatter around LeBron, the LeBron-Steph team-up is a perfect example of all of us wanting too much of a good thing and spending too much time scheming and dreaming of something that would probably not be the storybook ending that we all want, instead of simply sitting in how incredible it's been. But I'll save that for another time. Really, I'm writing this email for something perhaps even more important to me. I'm writing to mourn the death of the greatest sports take of the 21st century. The Max Kellerman fate of the universe on the line. The Martians got the death beam pointed at Earth. I want Iguodala. Take is finally dead. To say that this take has lived rent-free in my head is an understatement. The delivery, the way that an old... Fuck, I'm sorry, dude. It scrolled back up. I was in a good rhythm there, too. Fuck. It has to stay in the show, man. It has to stay in the show. The delivery, the way the old boxing reporter sneaks back out for a moment, the way he fucking looks at the camera, the fact that it's in a live studio audience, Stephen A's face. No one has ever said it with their chest harder than Max Kellerman said it with his. Chef's kiss, perfect 10. It doesn't even need a longer name. It's just the take. As a cultural touchstone for other sports sickos, it's an incredible... This is a long-winded email, but don't worry, it's a good one. As a cultural touchstone for other sports sickos, it's an incredible way to immediately see if someone's going to match your vibe. An Aussie barista in the Hungarian coffee shop that I go to in Germany hit me with it, and within a month, we wound up drunk in the Baltics. And it was maybe the last great hurrah of First Take before it truly went off the rails. Still, for all the take has done for us, it is dead. The gold medal game killed it. Wemby, literally the alien, the Martian, hit that three with a minute left, and there it was. The Martian death beam pointed right at us. Then what happened? Who answered? Fate of the universe on the line. Was it KD or LeBron? Both waving for the ball, wide open? Nope. It was Steph Curry, with two defenders in his face, but with the red-hot hand. Said, "You ain't stopping me," and put him to sleep. You can't make it up. But every great victory comes with a cost. While we may have gotten one of the greatest shots in Olympic history, we paid for it with the single greatest moment in TV sports commentary. Did I ever care that the take was right or wrong? No. Does this mean we can't enjoy it? Of course not. But that moment, that fourth consecutive three, took something from us, something elemental. The suspension of disbelief, so important to any take, is now gone. The fact is that we can no longer shake our heads in amusement and say, hell, maybe Max was right. And that means that the take is not quite what it used to be. And man, it really used to be something. The take is dead. Long live the take. Gabe, thanks for that email, brother. That was one of the funny... I forgot the reason that I flagged that one is because it was one of the... By the end of it, you really won me back. That was one of the funnier pieces of shit emails that... that we've read in. This is awesome. I think you're 100% right. I think this is an incredible way to look at it. I didn't frame this moment this way at all. But we were talking about this the other day on the shoot around, that the fact that how many of these like NBA reaction memes and graphics and shit like that are burned into my brain. And when you see them all visualized in front of you and you realize how many of them that you know, like, brother, the three of us, me, my girlfriend, and our son, we went on a picnic yesterday. And when I was moving my son from the ground into his stroller, I said, "Get ready to learn stroller, buddy." Just kind of like to myself. I immediately was like, why the fuck did I just say that? And then later on the shoot around, we were talking about, and I was like, brother, I literally just said that shit. When I verbalized that shit, oh my God, I feel it's like the worst level of brain rot in the world. Why the fuck? What were we talking about here? Why did I talk about that? Oh yeah. And then this guy also, I love the idea that like two NBA Circle Jerk users meet in the wild, and then within a month they're like a barista says to a guy, "Send the video," and a month later they're getting drunk in the Baltics. What the fuck? This guy rules. This sounds awesome. Let's do another email. This one comes into us from Hayden. Subject line: Did streaming kill the Olympics? Hayden, welcome to the show. Hey Nick, first time emailer, long time listener. Been enjoying the recent podcasts, and your talk about the Olympics got me thinking about why I just wasn't as captivated by the events like I was in the past. I feel like Beijing 2008 and London 2012 were massive. Like everyone watched and talked about them. Then I got to thinking about Tokyo 2020. Literally couldn't remember where they were held and had to look this up. COVID probably contributes to my lack of remembrance, I guess. And Paris 2024. Pretty much the only things I watched this Olympics was men's gymnastics and men's basketball. Just wasn't too captivated by anything else. Then it hit me. I wound up either watching YouTube or catching up on streaming shows when I'd get home from work instead of being locked into the Olympics. I'd guess others had the same feeling, and they're preoccupied with other things they watch or stream. Thinking back to 2008 and the 2012 Olympics, there was pretty much only cable TV, so people had almost no choice but to watch the Olympics because the regularly scheduled programs on NBC or the USA Network where we're showing the Olympics, and it's not like you could choose to just stream an episode of Breaking Bad. I don't know, kind of just a long ramble about why I think Olympic TV ratings will continue to decline because of the multiple choices streaming provides. Glad to finally get an email. Yeah, okay. I appreciate all the secondary shit here, man. Hayden, I got to be honest with you, brother. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you very much, but I appreciate the email. So let's talk about it. I think that Peacock's presentation of these Olympics was one of the, I don't know like how to rank this as like a thing, because it's not like I could really think of other examples. And I guess I don't want to go like full hyperbole here, but like it was the best presentation of any major event ever. It's not like really what I mean, but how friendly it was. The interface was very friendly. It was very user friendly, right? So like if I'm watching Gold Zone, which by the way, all I had to do between the hours of like 5 a.m. and 4 p.m., all I had to do was open Peacock, and the first thing was like Gold Zone. Hey, here's what's going on in the Olympics right now, and we'll show you like 8 events at once, right? And then as soon as you put it on and Scott Hansen is like walking you through everything, they'll cut to full screen fencing. And then as soon as they cut to fencing, a little icon will pop up in the corner that's like, hey, do you want to just switch to this and just watch this? And you can say yes or no. Obviously, if you say yes, all right. So you say no, the next thing that's, you want to switch to this? You want to switch to soccer instead? That's amazing. That shit is awesome. So when we talk about, we've talked about it a couple times on this program, what the conventional broadcast of a sporting event will look like by the, not even in 10 years, by the end of the decade, like how different it's going to look. It's shit like that I'm talking about, right? Where it's the user experience that these leagues are kind of trying to get into next, right? Whether that's like small interface, like you're watching a college football game and the halftime update, they cut to, they're showing you this game, and then, they'll say, hey, do you want to just cut to this game? I'm sure that tech does exist in some form, but, you also think about it from like an augmented reality standpoint, because the NBA especially is really trying to get into there and like the VR space too. So I don't know, just like keep an eye out for it. But I think that it was a really innovative way to watch the Olympics, what Peacock did, to be honest with you. And then like, I also think it was harder to watch. It was less accessible to watch the Olympics in 2012 in London or in 2008 in Beijing, because like we had Comcast. So we had like, I don't know, we didn't have that many channels. And so like a lot of the events, because of how many networks it spans, it's not like all the events are on like 2 networks. It's like a fucking March Madness game. There's like networks that you've never heard of. And like usually that only shows like True TV. What the fuck are they getting? Like I get it, they're a syndicate of like TNT or Warner Brothers or whoever the fuck, right? Like I get how that works, but it's like, why are they getting a basketball game? That's like the Olympics. So you didn't get that much with Peacock. You could watch anything. You could watch anything that you wanted. So Japan, for example, when it was in Tokyo, yes, you're right. COVID made those Olympics. They were delayed a year, and then there was nobody that was even allowed to be there. So the environment was just weird. And then also for the United States, it was a time zone thing. And so it was just unwatchable, right? I don't really know how it would have been better in Beijing. I don't remember that one too much, but London would be completely fine. That's nothing, right? That's basically the same thing that we just dealt with was probably like maybe an hour or 2 difference from Paris. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the ratings were actually for this. Would that be interesting to look up in real time? It'd probably take me too long. It's funny, I haven't looked into that at all. I guess I haven't really considered it because I was truly in my own little bubble. Guys, I loved these Olympics. I was vocal about it. I don't need to keep talking about it because nothing really changed. Just by the end of it, I was bummed. Except maybe I should have led with this, folks. The United States defeated the world in total medal counts, but tied in gold medals with China. Shit. Fuck. But still, I felt really good about it. From like a patriotic standpoint, I felt really good. I did get it all out of my system. I don't know. I guess if I ate like a pack or 2 of hot dogs, I feel like I would get it out of my system. Squeeze all that last like Americanness out of me. Just eat like 18 hot dogs or something like that. I've always wanted to do a hot dog eating contest. Stay on the road with what you were trying to talk about. Really distracted myself there because I started thinking about hot dogs and how fucking hard it is to get Coney dogs in Chicago. It shouldn't be that hard because I can go to Target and I can get like chili like that's intended for hot dogs. But as soon as it's just not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. Like it's a chili dog and so it's still good and like whatever. I'm not going to complain about it, but it's not the same thing as a Coney. And then my brother was here a couple of weeks ago. And we made chili dogs, but then also I cut an onion for the first time. I had never done that before, but I was like, my girlfriend, we were like, we want onions on our chili dogs. So, all right, so I'm chopping onions. Dog, that shit actually makes you cry, like, for real? Like, for real, that shit makes you cry. You cut into an onion. I'm, like, looking around. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, oh, I thought, like, am I a cartoon? Like, what just happened? No, it was real. Oh, okay. It's just hard, man. It's hard. It's the one thing about Chicago that I just hate. I don't like the hot dogs here. I don't like them. I don't care that much about grilled hot dogs, honestly. I prefer to boil them. That's my thing. I grew out of microwaving them because when they explode and split at the end and shit like that, I just don't want to really deal with it anymore. Just boil it. You put it in the water. Perfect. But I don't want it in the casing. I don't want the snap. That's the one thing about me that's like anti-Michigan is I don't want the Flint Kogel snap. I don't want that. I do not want that at all. So when you go to Detroit and you do American versus Lafayette, right? You do, who's got the better coney? So I go to is it Lafayette that had the snap, but they had better vibes, but American had the better dog. But also, I don't care because it's a coney, and if you haven't had a coney, it's not just a chili dog, man. It's just different. It's just different. And you just can't get them in Chicago. You also just can't get Hungry Howie's in Chicago. It's impossible. It's a lot of places in the country that you can't get Hungry Howie's. Weirdly enough, you can get it in like fucking Arizona. I can go down to Indiana, I could get some. I could go to Michigan, and I could get some, but I can't get any in Chicago. Like the hub of the pizza Midwest. Probably like the third most important spot for pizza in the country. And we can't get anything? No, Hayden, I don't agree with you at all. That the presentation did streaming kill the Olympics. I don't think so, brother. No, if anything, I think it just like made it super fucking electric and super accessible, by the way. They made it really, really easy to keep up. I'm a father of one, right? And for most of the days that the Olympics are on, I'm sitting here by myself with my son for the entire time that Gold Zone is on. I'm busy. I'm doing shit, right? I'm not just like hanging out watching TV that much. But because I have Gold Zone on passively, I'm in the loop constantly. It doesn't matter how long I stay away. When I come back, I will be caught up to speed in some form. That rules. That infrastructure has not existed in the past for these Olympic events. It hasn't, flat out. We can use hyperbole there. It hasn't existed. In this way, it hasn't. And so that's what I mean by it was actually kind of an innovative presentation by Peacock. I think it actually may have made the Olympics cool again. And that might just be me being in my own little bubble and just being like I have my Olympic goggles on and I just had a lot of fun watching it. And I just have been super jaded recently. And so I'm just excited that you know what I mean? Like it could just be that, right? Or I'm right. And it could be that. And Peacock actually nailed this. Shout out to NBC. Kind of makes you excited. What are they going to do with the NBA? Are they going to do what I was talking about where you're just whatever, halftime adjacent TV show they have, so like halftime, report show that they have, they go to the desk at halftime and they're going around the league showing games. And just while they're showing it, just bloop, little icon comes up, click that. You watching it on your the Vision Pro, you just boop, script, grab it with your finger. Where'd we reach on that one, Hayden? Did I sway you? Maybe I swayed you on that one. I think I did a pretty convincing job. Hey, let's talk about something else. Just something else in general. Well, okay, there's one more basketball email. But we're kind of moving on from the Olympics here a little bit. This one comes into us from Leo. Leo, I believe, welcome to the show. I don't think you've ever sent in an email before. Yeah, first time email. You said that in here. I was going to say, damn it, dude, you stole my line. Leo is a frequent commenter, but this is the first time that he's actually emailed in. So I made a point as soon as I saw him in here. I was like, I got to read this. No matter what it says, I was like, I'm just going to read this. Subject line, bingo card, NBA player cancellation. Hello, Nick, day one listener, frequent commenter, first time emailer. Hope you're doing well. I'd like to inquire if this player fits the mold of someone who's been effectively canceled in the NBA as per your 2024 bingo card. This player is Patrick Beverley. Even if he hasn't been 100% canceled at this exact moment, I'd argue he's at least on the brink. With my reasoning listed below in no specific order. 1. Universal backlash received for throwing a basketball at that woman's head in the first round of the playoffs. Parenthetically, this is bonkers. Number 2. Failing to receive even a minimum contract from any team, later stating he was about to sign a historic overseas contract that ended up being 2 years, $4 million. Number 3. having what's likely the worst player podcast I've ever had the displeasure of listening to. Parenthetically, legitimately worthy of its own email. Number 4, I think, signing a contract in Israel in 2024. Today's latest, quoted calling Israel paradise out of pure ignorance, and in response to backlash about this decision, stated that everyone is all of a sudden a CNN reporter. You're just hearing about stuff that you see on TV. That's you might be right. Is the fucking problem? Is Pat Bev the one that got canceled? It hasn't happened yet, but I think you're right that he's almost there. I just got to be honest with you guys about something. I got to be honest with you, Leo. Leo, you're a good guy. I like you a lot. I think consistently your field goal percentage on comments is like you're shooting at a really good clip, at a really high clip. You didn't say anything wrong in here, all right? But I really like Patrick Beverley. I really like him, and I really like his podcast. I really like him because I like Roan. I think Roan's a funny guy. I think he's a good dude, and I think all of the horse shittery of Pat Bev's career, it's the podcast specifically that convinced me that he's actually kind of a cool dude. However, that being said, even I was like, Pat Bev he's playing where? Is that Tele who? Tele where? Huh? It's not great. Which, by the way, he's played in this league before. I'm pretty sure he was the fucking MVP of it before he came over from at some point he played in Russia, and at some point, I swear to God, he played in Israel. Or it wasn't in Israel, but it was in the same league, right? So it just wouldn't have been in Israel. So I don't know. But he's the MVP of this league already. Before he went to Houston, would have been, right? So, okay. So he's like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, I get to go and just like hoop. Like, I'm a number 1 option. Yeah, so that thing that we were talking about last week when we were like, so if Saudi Arabia did the culture washing thing, but they like got into the NBA, or rather they got into basketball and like started poaching players, Patrick Beverley is making $96 million a season to play basketball in Saudi Arabia, somewhere in the ballpark. One that you guys threw out there, by the way, you guys nailed this. DeAndre Ayton, you guys put on the list. I was having a hard time at center. You guys threw out DeAndre, and I thought you guys absolutely nailed that one. Hey, let's do a football email. Let's do a football email because I haven't talked about football at all, and it's back, by the way. The Lions have already played a preseason game. They got a second one coming up this weekend. Love the uniforms. Absolutely loving the uniforms. I knew that I would like them as soon as I saw them in action, and I was right. It took like 2 snaps, and I was like, yeah, these fucking rule. But let's do a football email. This one comes into us from y'all. Y'all, welcome to the show. Subject line, is mentally punting on a season a bad idea? When I got the news that JJ McCarthy was out for the season, I fell to my knees in my kitchen. Since the Vikings made the pick, I have been waiting earnestly to see McCarthy channel his inner Brady to take us all the way to the Super Bowl this season. I even named my fantasy team after him to show the dog is going to keep barking, but I'm actually just going to keep going with the email, and he'll stop barking because he's small and he sounds like he's big and woofing a lot, but he's actually going to stop barking any minute now. And it sounds like it may have already happened, and the last of his barks may have fizzled out. So y'all, let's get back to your email here. I even named my fantasy team after JJ McCarthy to show my solidarity to my Lord and Savior. But the news of him tearing his meniscus means I have to wait a full year to see my king play, something which I am not prepared to do. And to add insult to injury, I am forced to watch Sam Darnold lead my team to mediocrity instead. Although I still get to watch Justin Jefferson and it's Jordan Addison, right? Because you wrote Addison, but it's Jordan Addison, right? Every Sunday. So the dog is going to keep barking. I'm going to keep... I'm just trying to figure out if I want to... This is staying in the show. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to keep this in the show. I'm so sorry about this, y'all. So sorry about this reading. Is mentally punting already a bad idea, or should I wait until Sam Darnold shits the bed on a cold, rainy night in Chicago? Can I tell you guys something before I answer the email, y'all? I wouldn't tell you guys this if I didn't like feel it was important. I'm being for real. Please stay with me. Please don't stay with me. I had a vision that this happened. It was like a week ago, and it was like a really vivid, almost like lucid, like daydream, but I was not asleep. But I was like, it was like a halfway. And it was like the news was that JJ McCarthy blew out his knee and was done for the year. Like he was done. And I remember as soon as I was like conscious, I thought about it. And I was like, damn, that would suck. Because I was just watching something about Rich Eisen. He was talking about like Bo Nix and Drake May and JJ McCarthy. And I was like, but I don't know. I was like, that was weird. JJ McCarthy. And then JJ McCarthy tears his meniscus. I had a vision like it, but it happened in the same. I don't know how to describe it to you guys. It happened, okay? I wouldn't tell you this if I didn't think it was important. So, but that's it though. I just had a vision that this happened, and then it did. And then it did materialize. But should you punt on your season because of it? We got an email like from a guy like 2 weeks ago. I wanted to read it. I just, back burner. Sorry to this guy, but he's an Oregon State fan, and he was like, hey, our football team's going to fucking suck because Michigan State, he's like, you fuckers took Jonathan Smith and Aiden Childs, and then the Velling is the tight end, Velling. So we're going to suck. He's like, so should I just like not care about it? So I guess this kind of goes to that guy too. Yeah, man, it's hard with football. It's hard with football because if your team loses, it's your whole week. That's your week is gone. You can't even consume like your favorite media for the first until like Thursday when like the next week like starts. You know what I mean? And then we're on to talking about other shit. But like if your team loses on Sunday, Monday through Wednesday sucks. Like it ruins your week, dude. And it's even worse when if your college team is doing good and you're paying attention, because you'll watch, I watch both days, but if Michigan State sucks, I don't give them my attention anymore. I don't have time for it because of what it does to me if they lose on Saturday and the Lions lose on Sunday. God forbid. Because if it's 1-1, like I could, I'll take it. It is what it is. So, okay. I don't know. For the Vikings specifically, that's pretty brutal. Because even if I don't like JJ McCarthy just because I have to do the anti-Michigan thing, what I do like about him is that he is this modern archetype of quarterback where he's a point guard. Like you can call him a yak merchant if you want. I don't think that's a bad thing, but that's just not he's a point guard. He literally just distributes the ball. It's not that he can't throw, like a 30-yard deep ball, but that's just not what he has to do. Like if he just can play in the boundary and throw these checkdowns and just get the ball to his playmakers in space, the same way that like a Brock Purdy does. There's an art form to that. And so with, you think about Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, like there are dudes in Minnesota that JJ McCarthy can get the ball. And so, yeah, we are robbed of that this year, but this is kind of the I am a Lions fan, though. I am a Lions fan. And so, sorry, but nice. Not nice. Nope. But you know what I mean, right? But you know what I mean. And so that's kind of also what I'm bearing here is, dude, football is back, more or less. It's back. Not a whisper from the Coping Hour about the Lions. Why? Why is that? I can tell you exactly why. Do you want to know? Let's talk about it. Because I'm still coasting off of what we did last year because I waited my whole fucking life for it. And because now the stakes feel real, the consequence feels real, I feel the heat from the NFC North. I feel the pressure. I'm scared that we can't do it again. Because I've never seen them. It's one thing to say, oh, we've never seen them do it. Well, I've never seen them do it twice. Replicate the success. Although that's not true. They've built on it every single year with Dan. You can't get to the NFC Championship game every year. You just can't do it unless you can if you're fucking the Kansas City Chiefs, or if you get to the championship game every year, you fucking the Patriots. You can, right? Okay. And then my other biggest fear is last year, how many quarterbacks straight up 15 starting quarterbacks were just at some point out for the year. They had an injury. They were just out for the year. How many star players across the board? I'm so scared for the day that and I'm not manifesting anything, but if that happens to Jared Goff, like, what the fuck? I can't do this. I can't do this. Please, not Jared Goff. Not Jared Goff. And I don't want to say like, well, but, because there's no but. But Hendon Hooker might be awesome. He might be fucking awesome. You guys see that shoulder he put down? He hurt a linebacker and knocked over a corner. So, looks like he might be pretty good. I wish he didn't run so much, just because I'm like, yeah, maybe you are like 2 fucking years at this point removed from the ACL injury. But like, chill, bro. Like, chill. This is like first day out, like, for real. Chill out, Hendon Hooker. So, yeah, I'm excited for the Lions. I'm excited, but I'm scared. I'm really, really scared. Michigan State football this year, I'm really, really excited to watch Aiden Childs. But if you look at Michigan State's schedule, there's no fucking shot. There's no shot for this team. It's one of the hardest schedules I've ever seen in my life. Honest to God. Like, by the end of it, I don't know Michigan State football schedule. Let's just look this up really quick. Michigan, and it all stays in the show. Okay, we open the season in 2 weeks against Florida Atlantic. That's not bad. That's a moonwalk, right? Play your cards right. You win by 3 scores. On the road in Maryland, week 2. That's a tough game. It's a tough environment. It's a good competitive team. You got a home game against FCS school, Prairie View A&M. Then you're on the road at Boston College, home against Ohio State, on the road in Autzen against Oregon, home against Iowa, on the road against Michigan, home against Indiana, at Illinois, Purdue, and Rutgers. What the fuck? What is this death row bullshit of Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, Michigan? It's such is life in the Big Ten now, right? Such is life. Love that for, I think that maybe the first 2 years, or I don't remember. No, it was originally for the first 2 years, but then now it's just 1. For the first year, we just don't get to play. Oh, no, we do get to play a new school. I forgot, Oregon. Duh. I was just going to say we don't get to play in a new school. That's what it was. So originally they made the change, and it was only 2 schools. It was USC and UCLA. And when they did those schedules, Michigan State didn't get to play either of them. And I was like, what the fuck? Los Angeles being Big Ten country is, we kind of talked about it last week, where these conferences were a representation of the areas geographically that they were in. They were reflections of that culture. And now that's totally wrecked. That foundation is totally wrecked. Hey, if that's not what we loved about college football, I thought it was. It's not like these traditions are just going to stop now. Especially because anything that we thought about conferences, that it's gone. It's gone. It will. I don't know if it'll ever go back to that, because whatever is next will just be like super conferences, like proper super conferences. So whatever traditions that I'm upset that, oh fuck, look what they took from us. Well, get over it. It's over. Get ready to learn NIL, buddy. Alrighty, folks. What else do I got for you guys? Is there anything else? Surely there was something else. Covered all the bases on that M. Night Shyamalan shit. No, I think that was pretty much it. No, come on, Nick. You got something else. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to sit here in silence, and we're going to do dead air until I think of what the other thing was. Did I have anything about Noah Lyles? Kind of. I mean, last week I said I wasn't mad at him. I talked myself through it, and I was like, whatever. Like, we all say some dumb shit from time to time. Like, whatever. Like, he's annoying, but like, whatever. I'm not mad at you. Brother, like, we hit publish on that episode, and then he was immediately like, I hate Anthony Edwards, and he shouldn't have a shoe, and I hate him. And also, he stinks. And I was like, the irony is that you're attacking the dude who, like, achieved the perfect zen, the perfect blend, if you will, of confident and, like, an asshole. But, like, in a humble way. Like, Anthony Edwards, like, talks it because he is it. And, like, I know Lyles can talk his shit, but he's just an asshole about it. Like, that's it. He's just an asshole. And so I don't care. Like, people, oh, but why? Well, he's right, though. Even if he is, about the semantics of a world championship, okay? It's just weird. I just don't get, like, for what, though? Like, huh? And you think about the brand recognition of, like, sprinters, like Olympic sprinters, and which ones we remember and which ones we don't. Well, we usually don't remember them. Like, it's not that, because I'm not going to sit here and say I don't know. Like, I don't know about, which fucking 400-meter sprints is Noah Lyles won. I don't know. I watched him, like, lose one, I was like, ha, you suck. So, like, I don't know, but I hear about him more because of shit that he says. And so I'm just like, so does he have a podcast? Let that happen. And see what happens to me. That fucking guy gets a podcast. Could you imagine? Alrighty, folks. Be sure to check out the merch. I'm sure I put it somewhere on the screen. I'm sure I already did that. I don't need to talk about that. I hope you guys like it. Really, really hope you guys do. Just had a weird week. And I think it was good for me to kind of reset a little bit. One thing I was able to sort of identify recently in the whole fatherhood department is just buying into him as a dude and not as like a responsibility and like an obligation, instead of looking at him as something that I have to take care of. It's like something that I don't want to say like that I get to take care of, but like just thinking about just being more empathetic about it. When I get frustrated when it's just me and him and I'm like, I straight up fucking don't know what you need right now. And I don't know how to figure it out. And I get frustrated. Right. But it's like, I know that he can't, like, he has no way to communicate it to me. And so you just have to, that's what I mean. Like, and luckily, thank God, dude, I was reading about self-soothing, which has been honestly nicer to me than it has been, nicer for me than it has been for him probably, which is like, if he is, kind of being fussy, like, and he's just sitting in his bouncer or he's rocking or something like that, I just walk away for a minute. As long as, I'll kind of peek around the corner, make sure he's okay. But like, if, every time he wakes up from a nap or he's getting fussy, if we're always right there immediately to like remedy him and to fix it, then that's just going to condition him that the second that something's wrong, the only way that he can calm down is if like either of his parents are there. So you got to let him breathe through that shit. You got to let him kind of figure it out and like, talk himself down from his fucking fight or flight that's kicking in. These like, what's the reflex? Where it's just, what's the Morrow reflex? What is it? I don't remember what it's called. So yeah, man, when I say buying into him as a person, it really is just more. And what really helps is that now we're over 3 months into this and he has more personality. We knew it would suck before we got there. It'd be really, really hard. But once we got there, it would start he laughs at everything. He loves laughing and smiling. And it's how much he responds to love more than anything. Like, he loves like watching us do shit. He's also pissing me off because he just grabs everything. He just won't stop grabbing stuff. And so like you'll be changing him and he'll just like grab like a baby wipe. It's like fucking start throwing it around. And then he'll start like kicking in like his messy diaper and he's got shit just all over him. And so he's also just growing like way too much. Like he's just growing way too big. He's just eating constantly. The last time we went to the damn doctor, they looked at him and they were like, so do you feed him every time? Like all the time? And we were like, what? Like, yeah, if he's hungry. And they're like, maybe don't always feed him. We were like, huh? He's like a month and a half old. Like, huh? Basically, they were just like, he's fat as fuck. We were like, all right. Damn. So, I don't know. We still ate like 7 ounces in like 30 minutes earlier of formula, by the way. So, okay. All right. This kid's insane. He's crazy. But we love him. Yeah. Alrighty, folks. That's going to do it for today's show. Should be back on Monday. Who knows? Who knows with me? Maybe I'll go crazy and I'm just like, nah, I'm fucking not doing it. I just go crazy. There's going to be something that I missed today. It's going to really bother me. Can't wait for the comments that happen. And you're like, how did you not talk about this thing? And I'm like, fuck. Didn't really do a proper recap of the Olympics. I don't think I really... Did I have a bad episode back? Damn it. All right, everybody. Well, go check out the merch. Let me know if you like it. Don't let me know if you don't like it, though. Give me like a few days, okay, before you shit on it. I'm still fragile right now. I'm still an emotional guy. All righty, folks. If you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to rate 5 stars. Leave a review. If you are listening to this on YouTube, be sure to rate 5 stars. Subscribe. Leave a little nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. I will catch you guys.
Computers now
in the next one.
Beautiful, beautiful.